remember we talked about the business prototype that is the business that is not people dependent, profitable, productive, replicatable. That prototype is kind of what this strategic objective is representative of. So this is going to be a narrative document. Okay. It is an internal facing document, Lang.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's not outward facing, it's inward facing. It's you and your team. Okay. And it provides direction and specific targets for your business.
Yes, ma'am.
So the intention of this is to motivate you and your employees. Everybody knows what the plan is.
Yes, ma'am.
They know the targets, the goals, and the objectives. We all work together to achieve that common result.
Yes,
okay?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So once you have this plan, Lang, it supports you in everything that you do. This says decision-making, planning, all of your strategic activities need to be in alignment with this, because this is what we're going to look like in the future.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Many companies they don't have a structured, intentional plan with long-term goals and objectives. That's what this is for. This is how that's what this will support. And this is in concert with your values, your brand promise, which I haven't had a chance to look at, but I did see in your note that you've completed that. So I will take a look at that. Foundation for everything that we do. So, couple of things to know about this. This is not laying the long-term big picture, like 5, 8, 10 years, way out there. Okay. The reason that it's not is because this plan, as I said, is internal facing. It's for your team. Okay. When a team looks at a business owner's long-term plan, right? Big goals and objectives, large target dollar. They just look at it and go, yeah, right. Because they're technicians. They're not entrepreneurs. They don't think in a strategic way. All they think is that's just the pie in the sky, right? We want to bring it in. We want to build a plan, Lang, that is a 2 to 3 year plan. Okay. Up to you, how long you think. Could be less, but not many of my clients build something less because they have to look at realistically, how long is it going to take me to achieve this result? Now, you're trying to fast track, Lang, so you may want it less than 2 years. I want you to think about that. You decide, but you're actually going to be establishing a date. Okay, so September 2026 would be 2 years, or whatever is 25, I guess would be 2 years. If you want to do shorter, totally up to you. But what we're doing here is we're going to create a picture of a business that works. So think prototype, those characteristics we talked about. So strategic objective, clear, vivid picture of how your business looks, acts, feels, and performs at a certain point in the future. Okay, and as I said, everything that you've done to this point is foundational to creating the context for this tool. It needs to be written, and it says right here, Lang, in the present tense. So what that means is you won't be saying we are going to look like this. You're going to say this is how we look. So whatever date you decide, Lang, let's just say hypothetically it's January 2025. You're going to, it's like you're standing in the door of your business at that time. And you're speaking to exactly what your business looks like on the ground today. Okay. When you write this, keep in mind that this is stable, not static. So what that means is a lot of business owners, when they're writing this, they get caught up in, I don't want to write it down if I'm not certain I can achieve it. I feel like that if I write it, it has to be so. The fact of the matter is, when you're in business, business, we have to embrace change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Things change around us
Mm-hmm.
all the time, and we have
Mm-hmm.
nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
The pandemic's a good example.
Mm-hmm.
The economy crashing,
Mm-hmm.
another good example. Write it based on what you want your business to look like.
Mm-hmm.
If something shifts or changes during that window of time, we'll go in and we'll update it.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll share with your staff what that change is indicative of.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions so far?
No.
Okay. What else was I going to share with you? Once we achieve this vision, Lang,
Mm-hmm.
you write the next one. So you should always have a plan in place. Should always have I can't even talk today. Strategic objective in place. That's why I've been off all day, so I haven't been talking to clients. But
Sorry about that.
Coach hat on. We should always have a plan in place. We should always be quantifying to that plan.
Mm-hmm.
So we write this one, we achieve the results, we write the next one, 2 to 3 years. And you continue that for the life of your company.
Understood.
Okay? All right, on page 4 of the guide, there's a checklist. Okay? Basic characteristics, distinguishing characteristics. The basic characteristics, Lang, have to be included in your plan.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing I look for when I read your plan.
Mm-hmm.
Are all of these things here? Okay? If they're not, I'm going to ask you to go back and include them.
Got it.
The distinguishing ones, those are if they apply, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to make up something if it's not part of your plan, but we do want to always keep in mind the importance of differentiating our business from all of our competitors.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at distinctive opportunities to differentiate yourself
Mm-hmm.
is really critical,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
To facilitating success. So these are mandatory, must be inclusive. These you want to consider, and any that apply, I want them to be inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Understood.
So read the process. It's going to give you all the instructions, give you some examples to write this.
Mm-hmm.
Let me show you the worksheet. The worksheet is really going to help you pull together all of the elements that are a part of this.
Mm-hmm.
Get it to open up here. So the first section in the worksheet, Lang, is going to be questions. What tells you set aside time, review your materials you've already completed, and then starting here, this is where you're going to start identifying those elements I just showed you in the checklist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So line of business, products, services offered, company size, growth objectives, geographic scope, target markets. All of these questions are pulling that checklist information out.
Mm-hmm.
Once you've answered all these questions, including when will your strategic objective be complete?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And again, I don't want 3 to 5. I want 2 to 3.
Okay, 2 to 3.
Okay. Once you have all of this considered, I want you to take all of it and I want you to consolidate it into a narrative.
Okay.
Okay. 1.5 page. Okay. Not anything longer. So you have to kind of keep in mind, this is for your team.
Mm-hmm.
So if it gets too long, they lose interest.
Understood.
You know, if it goes on and on and on and on, it's like, ugh. So we want it to be motivational, inspirational. We want them, when they read it, to say, absolutely, Lang, we can achieve these goals. Let's get it done. We want them to get on board. We're going to be presenting this in the company meeting that I was sharing a little bit about with you the other day,
Okay.
where we give these basic elements. You're going to be presenting the highlights, but then you're going to be giving them this narrative after the meeting so they can really see the complete picture. Okay. We want everybody on your team on the bus.
Understood.
Right? We're working together. So page to a page and a half, utilizing all of the information that you gathered here. And I want to see these worksheets and the narrative. Okay. What happens with a lot of clients, Lang, is they capture things here on the worksheet, and then I read their narrative, and a whole lot of the things that are on the worksheet aren't inclusive in the narrative.
Mm.
And so I just want to say, if you capture them here, why didn't they transfer and into a part of your plan? Let's talk about that. Make sure they shouldn't be there. What else do I need to tell you? That's really about it. It's just, really looking at, this is going to be inclusive, Lang, of, as I said, I'm standing in the door of your business. I'm in a helicopter looking down at it. It's going to talk about not, your financial goals and objectives, your margins that you're trying to achieve possibly, the products and services you offer. How do you get your name out, advertise, lead generate? Who is your target market? What is the systemization of your business, customer experience, team environment? It's that complete picture of your business. When it is, the process says complete. Your business is never complete. I don't like it saying when it's complete. It's when it's, at this point, this first shot is really when it's your prototype, when it's that replicatable business that you can start putting out there and getting identical results. Any questions?
It reminded me of the brand promise. We did not put in the draft because we've been working on it so many times, and then we just put it in the final. Is that okay, or you still want us to upload the draft?
I think you uploaded it, right? The brand promise and the company values, Lang, many clients, what they capture there is inclusive in the strategic objective. So I haven't looked at it because I just walked in, but you included it here, right?
Right, but so you want us to do the draft first before we do the finalize? But there was
Well, I like to see the draft.
Okay.
So that I can read it for you. And I've never had a client, Lang, in 23 years send me their strategic objective one time and it be final.
Correct.
What usually happens is I get them, we talk about it. I'm going to give you some ideas, suggestions, things that maybe you could add or change a little bit. Some clients, when they write them, there's a lot of replication. So I'm hearing the same thing over and over. We want to make it, as I said, very impactful, very motivational, inspirational. And we want to make sure all those key components are included. So the first time I see it and we talk about it, I'll probably send you back to make a few refinements. But what's most important is that final is yours. You are absolute. This is it. You're excited about it. You're motivated. It's non-negotiable. We are going to accomplish what this is shared. So that's why it says draft. Send a draft. And then we'll talk about it, and then you can finalize it.
I'm talking about this brand promise that you opened. You see that we didn't upload the draft right there?
Oh, that's okay. No, that's okay. I will, when I look at this, I'm going to go back and I'm going to read all of this first, because this is really what drives what you came up with here.
Yes.
And so I'm going to read this, thinking from the point of view of, I'm providing this to my team so that my team understands and can connect to that customer experience that I, your team member, has to deliver in the execution of my work.
Understood.
The fact that you didn't do this but what's important, Lang, is that this is your brand promise, that this is something that, this is it, Melinda. This is what we're committed to. This is what we believe speaks to our team and represents the customer experience that we want to deliver every single time without exception or fail. So don't worry about this. But on the strategic plan,
understood,
it says draft because it may be a work in progress. The first time out may not be your final. It might surprise me. It might be perfect. Never has happened, but it could be. So if we find things to make it better, then you can go back and finalize it. We're going to be presenting it at the company meeting. You've got plenty of time to finalize it for that meeting. We still have a little bit of work to do before that meeting. But this one I would consider your first draft.
Understood.
On your strategic plan. Okay? Any other questions?
Yes, I have on the calendar that I'm going to meet you again this Tuesday. Is that correct?
Say that again?
When is our next meeting?
Let me see, Lang. Hold on. Let me pull up my... I don't have it up. I've been out doing a whole lot of nothing, spending money today. That's what I've been doing, spending money. That's always fun. Let's see. It's probably not this coming week because we just spoke.
Mm-hmm.
So our next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, October the 3rd. So it was 2 weeks from last Tuesday, same time, same place, 1:30 Central Time on Tuesday, October the 3rd.
Perfect.
So I don't need that draft until Sunday, the 1st of October. That gives you about a week and a half to really work on this and drill down on it.
Understood. This one going to take me for a while. Yes.
Yes, this one is really, really significant.
Understood.
This is our path, our plan from this point forward. Everything we do is to achieve this result.
Understood.
Okay? If you get stuck, have any questions, we can go back and forth email. Give me a shout. Let me know. Otherwise, yeah, I knew you would get those done. I just want to make sure that we have ample time in our meeting to really talk enough about them to know how do we put it into practice in our business? How does it support what we're going to do moving forward? So we'll get through those three, hopefully in our next meeting, and then we can move forward.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much.
Absolutely. Have a fabulous weekend. We'll talk in a couple of weeks unless you need me prior to that.
Thank you so much, Melinda.
Absolutely. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.